Do you know why the Ottoman Empire actually collapsed? For more than 600 years, the Ottoman Empire was one of the most powerful empires in the world. At its peak, it controlled huge parts of Europe, Asia, and Africa, and ruled over millions of people from many different cultures, religions, and ethnic groups. It was rich, feared, and politically influential for centuries. So how did an empire that powerful eventually fall apart? The answer is that the Ottoman Empire didn't collapse because of one single event. It was the result of centuries of decline, caused by weak leadership, corruption, military failure, economic problems, growing nationalism, and finally, a devastating defeat in World War I. Let's break it down. One of the biggest problems was weak leadership. In the early centuries of the empire, the Ottoman sultans were strong military and political leaders. They expanded the empire, controlled trade routes, built powerful armies, and kept the state organized. But over time, that changed. By the 17th and 18th centuries, many later sultans were no longer as capable as the empire's earlier rulers. Some were inexperienced, others were heavily influenced by palace politics, and many failed to respond to the empire's growing problems. As central authority weakened, corruption spread through the government. Officials often cared more about personal power and wealth than fixing the empire's problems. This made the Ottoman state less efficient, less stable, and much harder to govern. Another major reason was that the Ottoman Empire fell behind Europe. While the Ottomans were struggling internally, Europe was rapidly transforming. The Industrial Revolution gave European powers stronger economies, advanced factories, improved transportation, and far more modern weapons. Their armies became better trained, better equipped, and more organized. The Ottoman Empire, on the other hand, struggled to modernize at the same pace. Its military, which had once been one of the strongest in the world, started to fall behind. In war after war, the empire faced defeat against rising European powers like Russia and Austria. These military losses damaged both Ottoman territory and Ottoman prestige. Then there was the empire's economic decline. For centuries, the Ottoman Empire had benefited from controlling important land trade, routes between Europe and Asia. But as European nations discovered and expanded new sea routes, those old land routes became less valuable. That meant less trade income for the Ottomans and less economic influence overall. On top of that, the empire borrowed heavily from European powers and fell into serious debt. By the 19th century, the Ottoman economy was under enormous pressure. It was becoming increasingly dependent on foreign money and foreign influence, which made it even weaker. Another huge factor was nationalism. The Ottoman Empire was incredibly diverse. It ruled over Turks, Arabs, Greeks, Armenians, Serbs, Bulgarians, Albanians, and many other peoples. For a long time, the empire managed to hold these different groups together. But in the 19th century, nationalist ideas began spreading across Europe and into Ottoman lands. Many ethnic groups started wanting their own independent states. In places like the Balkans, revolts and independence movements became a serious threat to Ottoman rule. The empire began losing territory as one region after another broke away or fought for autonomy. Each rebellion made the empire weaker and harder to control. And then came the final blow, World War I. By the early 20th century, the Ottoman Empire was already badly weakened. It had lost territory, suffered economic decline, and struggled with internal unrest. When World War I began in 1914, the Ottomans joined the war on the side of Germany and Austria-Hungary. It was a disastrous decision. The empire fought on multiple fronts and suffered enormous military and human losses. When the Central Powers were defeated, the Ottoman Empire was left shattered. Its lands were occupied and divided by the victorious Allied powers, and the old imperial system could no longer survive. In 1922, the Ottoman Sultanate was officially abolished. That marked the end of the Ottoman Empire after more than 6 centuries of rule. Then, in 1923, under the leadership of Mustafa Kemal Ataturk, the modern Republic of Turkey was founded. So in the end, the Ottoman Empire collapsed because it was weakened from both inside and outside. Weak rulers, corruption, military decline, economic problems, nationalist uprisings, and the disaster of World War I all combined to destroy one of history's greatest empires. And that's the story of how an empire that once ruled 3 continents slowly fell apart.